In this video tutorial, I just want to walk through the simple process of adding custom styles to your individual Impact templates. So the first thing you need to do is go into your template builder in Impact. And from here you can either choose a template to edit, or you can just start working on a brand new template. So that's what we're going to do right now for this tutorial. So if you just click on Show Template Options, it pops open the individual template option box. And in this option box, you'll see at the very bottom there's Template Custom CSS. When you expand that, you'll see a box where basically you add your custom styles and they get applied to this particular Impact template. Now you'll notice that it's actually pre-populated by default with some of the most common Impact divs to make it easy for you to add custom styles to the main areas of your Impact template. Now basically what a div is in HTML, it's just little snippets of code that wrap around certain bits of content. So in other words, if you have a div that wraps around your header area and then you apply some custom styles to that div, everything inside the header area will be affected, or at least possibly affected, depending on the styles that you add. So it's pretty simple once you get the hang of it, and with Impact it makes it super easy to add custom styles. Now basically you can either add the styles to the pre-populated divs as I mentioned, or you can actually add your own divs, because there's a ton of other areas that you can style that aren't pre-populated. If you do this, all you have to do is make sure that you add it outside the individual styles that are already pre-populated. So in other words, you can either put it, before or after one of the individual divs, or you could actually go to the very bottom and just start adding, after the entire set. Or you could even, if you wanted to, just delete everything and just add your own fresh custom CSS. So however you do it, it's just make sure you don't add it inside a div unless you want to style that particular area. So let me just show you how it works. Let's start with something that's already in there. Like let's say we wanted to style the Impact title area. So all we'd have to do is scroll down to where it says Impact title and just start adding styles. So in this case, let's say we wanted to add a background, maybe make it a gray color. As you can see, on the fly, it shows the style taking effect in the preview window. Now, if you look at this, you could think, well, maybe we need some padding so it's not just stuck to the actual text there. So we could add some padding, maybe add like 5 pixels, and as you can see on the fly, it actually adds the styles. Now, let's say we want to add our own custom CSS that's not already pre-populated. Maybe we want to increase the margins between the paragraphs in your content area. Well, what we need to do is focus on the Impact content P's, the P's specifying the paragraphs. So what I would do is scroll down, I'd find Impact content, and I'm actually going to copy that and go down one line and paste it in. And now I'm going to say Impact content space P. So what I'm saying is I want to focus on the Impact content paragraphs. And once I do that, I could say something like margin dash bottom colon. Maybe we know there's already 10 pixels in there, so let's make it 20 pixels. And as you can see, it jumped it down to 20 pixels. Now, it actually only physically moved it 10 pixels, but that's because there was already 10 pixels there. So by adding 20, you only increase it by an additional 10 pixels. So, as you can see, if you were to change the 20 to a 30, and you can see now there's 30 pixels between them. And this actually brings up one other point to mention as you're working with the custom styles. For the real-time preview to take effect, sometimes you actually have to move the cursor an additional time. So in other words, for example, if you see the 30, if I backspace and hit 4, it actually drops it back to the default. But that's because it needs me to hit, like, let's say if I hit arrow right just to move the cursor one to the right, it then takes effect. So basically it needs that extra cursor input or whatever sometimes to make it take effect on the preview window. So in other words, just, it doesn't always do that, but in certain situations, if you make a change and it doesn't seem to make the change, just maybe hit the cursor to the right or something, and it should then take effect. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. That's the real basics of adding custom CSS to your individual templates. Once you get the hang of it, once you kind of learn a little about custom styles and how it works with Impact, you'll realize how powerful this one little option box is, because you can go in here at any time, add some custom styles, save your template, and it'll just affect any of the templates or any of the pages that are taking this particular Impact template, and it just gives you a lot of control. And one other thing to keep in mind, you may add custom styles here and not see a change over in the preview window. If that occurs, it could be that the styles that you added were incorrect, but it also could be that the preview window just doesn't have the particular content that you're styling. So just keep that in mind. So, there's a lot of styles that we'll add that we know won't actually affect the preview window, but will affect the actual website once you view the page in your browser. So just so you know, the preview window will not necessarily show every single style that you add in the custom style sheet. So anyway, I hope this is helpful, and have a great day.